I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I've been in for a little bit over 2 years. Prior to doing this rap, I was a hairdresser for 12 years, and I absolutely loved my job. But then I had 2 little kids, and it was becoming more difficult to get to work, obviously, because of my babies. And one of my friends sent me a message on Facebook about the rap, so I said, hey, I don't have a lot of time to work out, and I want to lose this baby fat, so let's do this. So I went to her house, and she put the rap on me. Took 5 seconds. I thought to myself, she just made $25 in 2 seconds. Cha-ching! So I signed right up to do it.
Well, and it's funny because I know we're going to hear a lot of different stories. You loved what you were doing. You had no intention of stopping what you were doing. But that doesn't mean, just because you love what you're doing, doesn't mean there's not room for an opportunity, right?
Right.
So fast forward a little bit. Now what's going on in the cook home that it's a good thing Mama's killing it with It Works Global?
Well, my husband works for construction, so the pay is not that reliable. So it's a really good thing that It Works fell into my lap because my husband hasn't been paid since June. So now I'm able to support the whole family. But before that, when I had kids, I never ever wanted to leave them. I didn't want them to be in daycare, and I'm not saying anything against daycare. I wanted to raise my kids myself. So I needed like some kind of an outlet, and this was like the perfect way for me to be home with my kids. And my mom was my babysitter, and she was canceling on me all the time because my dad got Parkinson's, so it was harder for her to watch my kids and my dad. So when this rap fell into my lap, I thought, this is going to be like the next big thing. This is like my in to be rich. So I just went with it, and I said, I'm going to be a millionaire, and that's what my plan is.
Okay, well, one more thing before we talk to Skylar. I was just in Boston. I did a 3-city, 3-night tour. And Boston was the 3rd city we hit, and I called you up and I said, will you do my hair? I've been doing my hair for 2 nights straight, and I just cannot do it by myself again for the 3rd night. And I called you and I said, will you do my hair? And you said, sure. And you didn't even have a brush in my hair, and you're like, I gotta be on stage. I gotta be in the top 100. And I love that because it was so genuine. And I'm sure because we get that, like, we don't want that to be like seem like the reason why we're doing this, but I know there's a lot of men and women in It Works because they want to do something significant. They want to have a stage to share a story. And some of you, as a matter of fact, are still working your booty off because you want to get on stage. And I know that's you, Asia. I mean, tell us a little bit about that because Mark almost didn't let you on stage because he's like, that girl likes to sing on Facebook. He's like, I think she's going to take that microphone and start performing in the middle of the stage. So tell us a little bit about that because I know there's a lot of other people out here that are in It Works because they do want the recognition. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. I just think that it's always been something that I wanted. Like being a hairdresser, I was a really good hairdresser, but there's no real way to like stand out unless you make yourself like go to a bajillion classes and go to New York and you're on stage there. And even then you kind of just are muddled out in the crowd. And this just seems like something you can help other people, and it's just more fun. And I just always wanted to be right in the center of the stage in the spotlight, just telling my story and doing my thing and helping other people.
And now you are.
And now I am.
I love it.
And now I'm going to start to sing now.
All right, well, Skylar, let's move to you. Skylar, I'm so excited. We met in Michigan. So how much has your family earned in good bonuses? Triple Diamond.
$50,000.
Yay! How old are you? Tell us a little bit about what life was like for you when you found this crazy rap thing.
I'm 25, and before I found the rap, I was a mother. I had a 2-year-old at the time. And Corey and I, my husband now, we weren't married yet, but it was kind of rough because we had this big wedding planned and we bought our house and we found out we had another surprise on the way. 8 weeks into that pregnancy, I started having contractions and they put me on strict bed rest, so we went down to 1 income and we literally had to eat peanut butter and jelly and corn dogs every night. And when you're pregnant, you don't want to do that. And we just didn't have like a good first year of marriage because we didn't have any money. We couldn't afford to pay our bills. They tried to like come get his car and they gave us foreclosure notices, and it was like really hard. And I feel like we're in the honeymoon stage right now because we love each other so much more. Like we just feel so complete and so blessed. And it's like we are finally getting that honeymoon stage 2-3 years later, so.
I love that. And marriage is hard. And then you throw in, you know, money challenges, financial troubles, things like that. And then you had a really tough pregnancy. But you told me, when we were first talking, you told me you were kind of the black sheep of the family. Is that right? Tell us a little bit about that.
I've always been the rebellious one, the one that talks back, the one that is strong-willed, and
She was the one that was late for our practice run.
I'm never late though, like ever. You can ask my mom. I was like freaking out. I'm never late. But I do feel like I've always felt like I never could do anything right, and I felt like nobody believed that I was going to succeed at anything. And now all these people are seeing what I'm doing, and they're just like blown away by that. Like I've done so much changing in the past 2 years because of this company.
So, so you've been in for 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years in June, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because you're feeling like the black sheep, you don't do anything right, finances are a huge struggle, you go to a boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
What happened for you at that boot camp that changed the just moving forward of everything?
Well, my mom pretty much had to drag me to boot camp, and she's my upline, my mom. And when we got there, I had my phone out. I kept trying to go to the bathroom. Like, I was like, whatever, you know. And Dr. Don got on stage and was talking about the products. And since I had such a difficult pregnancy, I was really struggling with people were telling me you need to not have any more babies. And at the age of 24, I didn't want to make that decision. And all I could think about was having another baby, even though I had a newborn. And so when everybody was standing up, you know, sharing their testimonies of the products, I was like, I have to find something that I can give my body that will help me, you know, be a better person to carry a baby. And so we went up and talked to Dr. Don afterwards, and I walked up to him and I said, I need you to give me something that'll help me make babies and keep them. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, my body just doesn't like to keep babies inside. Like it tries all the time. Every time I'm pregnant, my body like tries to get the baby out. And he's like, come here. And he like took this label off my head, this pretend label. And he's like, you need to remove that label because you're a baby making machine. And he put his hands on my head and prayed for me. At that moment, my entire thought process changed. I feel like God healed me, and I feel like He healed my mind. And at that moment, I completely changed. It was just like a switch. And I went home and I told Corey, I'm going to make you a millionaire, and we're going to have 1 million babies. And he's like, what are you talking about? What are these people teaching you?
Millionaire and 1 million babies. That's my kind of girl. Nathan does not want me hanging out with you.
Bring me all your babies. I just want to hold some babies.
So, you know, it's funny because he took that label off of you, and it's like it also took 1 million other labels off of you,
yeah,
right?
Because everybody put labels on me. I mean, it was just like the failure, the person that was the rebellious one that was never going to succeed. And I'm proving everybody wrong because of this company, and it's just such a huge blessing to me.
Okay, before we move to Billie Jean, I have to ask you, what is your aha? Because when I asked you this the other day, this is just still rocked me to the core.
When my check this month got deposited into my bank account, I told Corey I've never seen that big of a number without like a negative sign in front of it.
Woo! That's awesome! It hurts, right? All right, thank you. All right, Billie Jean Stewart, sorry about that. I am so excited to have you on this panel. You're a double diamond. You've been in for how long?
A year and a half.
A year and a half, and you've just earned $25,000?
Total, yeah.
25,000 total, thank you. Okay, 15 and 10. And kind of give us a little bit of a background of what life was like for you when you were first introduced to the It Works Rap.
Okay, so I'm a mom of 4 little ones, and I homeschool. So life is really full for us, and I was introduced to the rap a few years prior to signing up. So a friend had told me about the rap, and it wasn't my time. So I never felt like it was something I needed to do. I was busy making babies, and so there was just a lot going on that I just didn't. So there was just never that, it just wasn't there. So a few years later, I went to a wedding in northern Michigan, where I'm from, in a little small town, and I met a girl that works for It Works Global, and she was doing amazing. So I was like, wow, if she could do this in my little hometown with all my friends and people, then I could go home and do this in Atlanta. So I was just about to start our next year of homeschooling at the time, and that's a really stressful time for me at the beginning of the year, so it was kind of just on the back burner in my mind. And around October, we were in our groove, and the kids, my sister has 4 kids, and she lives right down the street, and so we'd hear a knock on the door at 2 every afternoon, and they'd all be gone. And I was like, well, what do I do now? So it just was the seed had been planted. And I looked her up on her website, and I signed up. I joined.
I love it. I can so relate with that because many of you might not know this, but I actually signed up 3 times, and the kit cost $2.99 every time I signed up. So at least you didn't spend money. You just were like, oh, time's not right. But I spent $2.99, and then I let it go, and then I spent $2.99, let it go, and the 3rd time was a charm for me, just like it's been for you. So I know you said your husband has provided a great living for your family, and it wasn't really about the money. So what was it?
So I always felt like God had given me a gift to lead people and to be someone that people could follow, and that I wouldn't be distracted by people who would tell me no, or that I couldn't do something. And so early on, he gave me a vision of myself walking through a forest, and a line of people behind me holding on to the back of my shirt. So I felt like, and in the picture, eventually they were walking away and going on their own, and I felt like he gave me the strength to be able to be somebody that could walk boldly somewhere in leading a path, and so he's just provided that the whole way through.
And what's really cool is Billie Jean hit double diamond last month, and 3 people on her team got the good bonus. So that line is starting, right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of people just holding on to you at the back there. All right, well, we'll come back here in a minute, because I want you to share that tip you told me about in a minute. But we better get over here to the Lathons. They've been sitting here so patiently. And if you know this couple, they normally make a big splash. So we should bring it on over here to you guys. I want to introduce you to Tony and Shaquita Lathon, and they're diamonds, so they earned a good bonus. And Tony, I'm going to start with you. You guys got in about 2 years ago, right?
Oh, correct.
How did you find this crazy rap thing?
At the time, I was about to get deployed to Kuwait. I was coming from Tampa for a training exercise, and I guess I had freedom conference at the same time. A lot of women had on black and green, get your sexy back shirts. So I asked this lady, like, what is this about? And she's like, oh, it's this crazy rap thing to help people, lose weight and tighten the tone. At the same time, I was working at a spa in Memphis, Tennessee, doing massages. Women would come in and get rap and pay like $300 to lose water weight. Me being a man, I couldn't rap them because they had to, get undressed. So in my head, I was losing on money. And she was like, no, we just put it on here, drink water, and it's tighten the tone. So I was like, if this product actually works, I got my $1 million next year. And so I lost our card, but my best friend and cousin was on Facebook promoting the business. I texted her, I'm like, hey, does the product really work? She was like, yes, I wouldn't sell it if it didn't work. I said, okay. Texted 2 days later, I said, I'm not trying to be in your business or anything, but how much money are you making right now? And she was like, well, I just started, I'm making $600. At the time, we was engaged, so she wanted a big wedding. And as a man, you want to provide everything for your wife. So I said, 600 times a year, $6,000, that's half my budget. So I told her, like, okay, what I need to do About 2 kids, never tried to rap.
Okay, just a second before you keep going. So I think it's interesting. He got somebody's card on the airplane, and I want to go back for a minute because I want to encourage you to get disciplined about getting people's information when you meet them so that you can follow up, because a lot of times we think it's something we've done and they don't call us back, and we've somehow done something that they weren't interested, or there's something about us they didn't like. He lost the card. He just lost it. And so if that person would have been following up with them, they have a diamond on their team right now. So I wanted to take a little minute to give a teaching point on that. And so you guys bought 2 kids, never tried the rap,
No,
and you went Ruby in 1 week, right?
4 days.
4 days. 4 days. By the way, I was introducing him to Mike, and I was like, Mike, you went Ruby in 4 days, or 1 week, and he goes, excuse me, it was 4 days. I was like, oh, yes, 4 days. Okay, but then you got deployed, because you've been in 2 years and you just went diamond. So Ruby in 4 days, diamond in 2 years. You get deployed. I'm going to speed it up because they're knocking that clock at me. But you started making some good residual. You're home doing rap parties. You're all on board, right? The rap worked. And yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so while he was deployed, I was basically doing all the hard work, working all the parties, going out. He's over in another country just communicating with people on the computer or whatever. So I felt like when he got back home from the deployment, I was in grad school at the time, and we were getting married that summer, so I just gave it over to him. I'm like, I'm done with this for right now. And so we got married, and we had this deal. It was like, okay, no work on the honeymoon, no it works on the honeymoon. I don't want to hear about it. And so as soon as we got off the plane back in Atlanta, we were driving home. He was on the conference call. And I was like, oh, here we go again. And so we were newlyweds and speed forward to September, October. And we just we almost had it out because I felt like it works was getting my time. He would be, his job had him traveling all the time, so he'll be at a base for like a month, and then he's home for 2 weeks. But it seemed like those 2 weeks, he was either meeting somebody with some raps or talking to someone on the computer or something. So I was just fed up. I didn't want to hear about it. And people are like, y'all have a different story, because normally it's the wife that's involved in the business and the husband don't want to hear about it. But we were different because I didn't want to hear about it.
And I got to interview you guys on a call a month ago, and I remember asking you, Shaquita, because I didn't know you at that point. I've known Tony, he's been coming to the events, and we were always asking about this mysterious fiance, now wife of his. We thought she didn't exist. We thought it was his green card getting into everything we were doing, you know? But then you were on the call with us, and you were all in, and you and him were working this, and that's what made this final push to Diamond. And I asked you, I said, why weren't you all in? And you said, because when you're newly married, you don't want to share your husband. You don't want to give up that special time. You're already working all the time, kids. And I thought, how realistic is that? So what happened? What made the shift? How did you get back in the game? Because it's made all the difference.
So we actually had to go and get counseling from a minister. And so he was like, well, just start off with these simple tips or whatever. Tony, don't treat her like an employee, that's your wife. So we came up with the list. That's what he said. We came up with a list. And so he was like, well, can you at least have one rap party a month and pass out at least 10 Blitz cards a week or whatever. So I said yes. And at the same time, we were going to church, and we did this thing at our church called a seed faith offering. And we were fasting and praying. And so I did my one rap party. I passed out my cards. I was following up with my people. And we looked at ourselves as success. I was ahead of him. And so now it's like a big competition. And I think I'm actually leading him right now because I just signed a distributor yesterday.
Okay, so Tony, I think you also told me, didn't you drive her a little bit with going to a boutique or something?
Yes, there's a lot of boutiques in the town. So I told her, I said, if you go to this boutique and push the owner, I'll buy you something at the store. One day she did it, and then she's like, oh, let's go down to this store. So after a while, I said, hold up, time out, too much money getting spent on this business right now. So that can backfire, so don't try that at home.
Yeah, but now you were working on your honeymoon, but now you guys are here, no kids, still in, you're newly married, and who's the one working now?
She is. I'm driving. She's, signing up distributors, signing up loyal customers. I said, what happened to the deal about the honeymoon no working? She was like, well, I'm going double down on this month, and I'm going to pass you. So now, like I said, it's a competition, so now we're trying to see who get double down first this month.
That's good stuff. All right, we'll come back to you in a minute. Tell me, Billie Jean, you had a great tip. I was picking their brain. First of all, number one, I'm a teacher, and teachers don't recreate the wheel, they just steal all the good ideas. So I wanted to steal all these amazing people's ideas, and I'm saying, give me a tip. They're thinking they're going to share them on stage. I'm like, tell me an aha moment. They're thinking they're going to steal them on stage. Really, I'm just stealing it to go out and teach other people what's working. But I heard this one and I thought, oh my goodness, this one we got to share on stage. So Billie, what do you do? You just promoted to Double Diamond. You've already been Diamond. So what do you do when you promote? Remember we always talk about the 3 R's. Recognize, if it doesn't recognize, bring in revenue, or build retention, we shouldn't be doing it, right? This one does all three.
So when I promoted to Diamond, and when I promoted to Double, I'm working on them right now because I just did last month, but I send a thank you note to every LC in my organization that I've signed up. So whether they're still on an auto shipment or not, I send a thank you note and just, say, last month, the month of April, I made a $25,000, whatever it is, $25,000, I'm speaking into the future here, promotion and went triple diamond with my company, and I wanted to thank you for your support and just basically thanking them. If there's something personal about that loyal customer, I add that in there. I put my Blitz card in there, and I also perhaps add my favorite product at the moment right now, just a little information about that. So, to all the LCs.
I thought that was incredible because if you're a loyal customer getting that card and the person that signed you up, you're thinking they're making a little bit of money and then you hear they made $15,000 on a bonus that month because you're their customer, chances are you might get their attention, right?
Yeah.
Plus you're just saying thank you and you're developing that rapport and relationship, but you don't just do it for your customers.
No, my distributors as well. So.
And inactive distributors, right, too?
Yeah, just basically everyone in my organization will get a thank you note for supporting me and just informing them that I made that goal.
And she's sharing that she had 3 that made their goal. And so I just thought that was really cool. And as we are working hard to not only build new, but also retain what we've already put in and continue to build those relationships, because your number one potential distributor are your customers. And so if we're taking care of them and including them in the journey, right? We all play roles, we just play different roles. I love that. And you, Tony, you're wearing you blitz everywhere you go with that lanyard.
Oh, correct.
This is your tip, right?
Yes. This is the most simple thing you can do ever in life. You get a blitz card, laminate it, and put it on a lanyard. I go to the grocery store, somebody's looking at it, they get blitz. Just that simple. Like, hey, have you heard about this? They're like, no, what is it? Like, here you go. It's a coupon for it. This is what it is. This is what it does. I take a picture holding the card. My wife made me pass them out because she says that I quit my job in 2 months. I pass all of them out. And I said last time she caught me throwing them in the trash can, so I take a picture so she can have proof that I took the picture.
I love it. All right, and you had a tip, right? You had a tip that you wanted to share.
I just always tell people that your warm market is actually your cold market. And what I mean by that is that your family and friends are not always the ones that will embrace your business, so don't let it discourage you. Push forward and step outside the box.
Okay, I love it. All right, we're going to end with this. I wanted you guys to each go ahead and give the microphone to Billie. Nope, you hold it. Here we go. You all get one word that sums up the good life.
Blessed.
Freedom.
Generosity.
Relief.
Kami, you know how that makes me feel. Hit it!